a huge overnight price rise for XRP is possible. This is not a little double or triple either. I'm referring to a massive change that will completely alter the way money works. The late Will Fix, whose life is nearly as interesting as the theory itself, developed this idea into what is now known as the Fix theory. I had a completely other script written and ready to go earlier, but I decided to scrap it. Instead, I want to say what's really on my mind and in my heart, because this story deserves to be told as Will intended. As far as cryptocurrency enthusiasts go, Will Fix wasn't your average speculator. At the beginning of his career, he was a serious businessman who owned many insurance agencies, ran bail bond companies in 27 countries, and operated at a level that most people can only conceive. He wasn't speaking merely as an XRP fan when he discussed the cryptocurrency. Someone with knowledge of international finance, risk, and opportunity sent it. All the information we have about XRP is turned upside down in his Fix theory. This isn't financial advice, so please don't take offense if what I'm going to say causes you to reevaluate your assumptions regarding the future value of XRP. The way Will broke it down was straightforward yet profound. If enough individuals like you and me buy XRP and a small number of institutions put money into the market, we may drive its price up to $5 or $10. I can visualize that. However, that is not the original intent of XRP. The intention was for this not to be a typical crypto scenario. Moving enormous quantities of value has been XRP's primary goal since its inception. And by giant, I mean it. Consider the organizations that partner with Ripple. Every single day, the worth of billions of dollars is transferred by some of the world's biggest banks, central banks, and payment processors. XRP serves as the system's intermediary asset. It's going to be the grease that keeps the future of money moving smoothly. For all the talk, Bitcoin just isn't built to perform what XRP can. For the moment, Bitcoin is trading for over $100,000, but XRP is only sitting at $319. Now, before we delve further, I have something that will revolutionize your investing strategy. If you want to be one of the first to see the next wealth boom, I've put it together. Here is the Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide, which is located under the pinned comment below this video. Discover stocks that are 100 times more valuable. Everything you need to know to find assets with explosive potential is laid out in this comprehensive blueprint, which includes videos, documentation, and real-life examples. You should not come back to this later. Seize this opportunity while it's happening so you don't miss out on what's really happening. The Fix theory will be revisited now. The wave has crested the hill. Anyone who has worked in sales knows that there's a period when rejection is constant. That was Ripple's early experience when they tried to sell their idea to unprepared institutions and regulators. However, things are different now. More than 300 large banks are already members. Over 1,700 non-disclosure agreements were found in court records some time ago. Years have passed since then. Try to fathom the sheer number of them today. They have made it through the most difficult portion of the process. The sign-up process has begun. Central banks, global banks, financial giants, the kind of players that don't just move millions, they move trillions. The bridge asset, XRP, cannot be priced at pennies on the dollar once those trillions begin to flow through a blockchain-based settlement mechanism. It would be unable to meet its liquidity needs. When XRP was about 50 cents, and even now, at little over $3, this is the issue that those institutions faced. Limiting the size of high-value transfers without destabilizing the market is possible with a low per-unit price and billions of units in circulation. Put another way, XRP can't do its job without a significant price increase. That's why Will was adamant that the new financial system's liquidity needs a solution, a mutually agreed-upon premium price for XRP. Nothing here is hyperbolic. This pertains to operation. Prices in the single digits or low double digits will not allow XRP to settle daily payments of billions, let alone trillions. If you want to know the exact price of XRP, you'd be asking a NASCAR racer for the exact finish time, according to certain experts like XDC developer Quincy Jones. Its exact ranking in the financial system is impossible to foretell, but its placement is. In terms of potential to serve as a bridge for global liquidity, XRP is now among the best assets in the market. You can know it won't stay cheap forever just by looking at it. Instead than making a hard and fast prediction, Will used an example value of $25,000 per XRP in his presentations to show the magnitude that is necessary. Some people have proposed thousands of figures. According to Linda Jones's cited IMF talk, XRP's high-value position has already been decided upon in private. Meme coins or other speculative ventures wouldn't hear that. Infrastructure speaks that language. Things become considerably more intriguing from this point on. At long last, rules are on their way. True institutional capital, the largest sums ever invested in cryptocurrency, can now confidently enter the market for the first time ever thanks to a new structure. I've been looking for that. The biggest names in tech will sit on the sidelines until regulations are crystal clear, regardless of how great your technology, collaborations, or use case is. Their entry flips the switch, and the system now requires XRP at its operational price point rather than its speculative retail price point. That is why the 5 to 10 targets that many retail investors mention are merely ideas for the near future. Of course, those figures could pop up somewhere. It's really up to them if they want to cash in on them. In reality, though, those figures are irrelevant to XRP's intended use, amounting to far more than anything retail speculation could ever hope to do alone. The projected value is precisely proportional to the quantity of global liquidity it will move. As this transition comes to a close, holding XRP will be more than just a coin. It will be one of the most strategically important assets in the new global financial order, used for instant cross-border transactions, loans, yield, and large-scale liquidity operations. Banks will be using it to settle these transactions. Plus, as Wilfix has already shown, the point isn't to cash out quickly for a few grand. The point is for XRP to perform its intended function and revalue itself accordingly. Envision yourself as a beneficiary of that reassessment. Prevent it rather than react to it. At its core, the fixed theory is more than a forecast. It lays out the rules for the operation of a worldwide liquidity asset. Unless the price of XRP is in line with its objective, the system will not function. That being said, the future holds less room for speculation and more for practical considerations. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't already, grab the Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide, find 100x stocks from the pinned comment. I'll explain how this shift could develop later on. I utilize this similar approach to identify potential possibilities, such as XRP prior to their inflection moment. There are so many videos, documents, and examples in it that you will never see the market in the same light again. Furthermore, while you're there, remember that my Moomoo link can get you free NVDA stock worth up to $1,000 with a simple $100 deposit. See both in the remark that has been pinned below. This is why the price adjustment is critical. There will be needless volatility if XRP remains inexpensive, because when institutional adoption floodgates open, each significant transaction will require a huge amount of coins. On the other hand, a lesser amount of XRP can complete the same huge transactions without causing market disruption if the price is significantly higher. For international organizations and central banks, that stability is paramount. Will believed that after Ripple exited the rejection phase and entered the sign-up phase, the very same one we're in now, the final step was to make the asset's price reflect its function. Since we are accustomed to considering pricing just in relation to supply and demand, that is the aspect that retail investors frequently fail to see. When it comes to XRP and similar projects, operational efficiency is just as important as price. When $1 trillion settles every day on the XRP ledger, just picture it. That setup would be wasteful with XRP priced at $5 each. It gets effortless when the price of XRP reaches thousands of dollars. The fixed theory predicts that kind of judgment. This is not an extravagant bet, but rather an improvement to the global financial infrastructure. It will be about more than just banks transmitting money across borders when this transformation occurs. Through its partnerships and integrations, Ripple is positioning XRP to serve as a foundational asset for various uses, including lending, yield generation, collateralization, and more. With XRP serving as the liquidity bridge, imagine a world where mortgages, auto loans, and business loans are all quickly collateralized or funded using digital assets. Just in case you were wondering if a value increase of this magnitude is even feasible, keep this in mind. The collaborations are already in place for XRP. In terms of speed, cost effectiveness, and interoperability, it is already fully functional. Regulatory clarity, the last piece, is gradually falling into place. Furthermore, capital flows quickly after such an event in any financial market. Central banks, the International Monetary Fund, and the Bank for International Settlements don't deliberate until years after a framework is established. They make a bold move. They are massive when they move. Once that happens, the new price, the functional price, becomes the market reality the very next day. So for individuals who comprehend XRP's purpose, the notion of selling it for $5 to $10 is illogical. That could work for day traders, but investors with a longer time horizon will realize that the moment the speculators leave is when the genuine winners emerge. We will fix this item as well as this one. Price increases due to increased demand are not all we're discussing. Similar to oil in the industrial era, we are discussing an asset that is being positioned by institutions as an absolute need. Value will be determined by how high XRP goes once the financial system ties it into that position. While retailers are preoccupied with more micro-level shifts in the market, this transformation's foundational work is gathering steam. The type of labor that goes unnoticed until it's suddenly pervasive, non-disclosure agreements, pilot projects, system integrations, etc. Though it might not be immediately apparent, the revaluation might have already taken place. This is why placement is critical at the present moment, rather than waiting for it to be apparent. Consider this. We are living in an era where the financial sector will undergo a digital revolution. Yes, it has arrived. Blockchain settlement, tokenized assets, rapid cross-border payments, they are no longer mere ideas. They are flourishing and thriving. Plus, XRP is in an ideal position to serve as the connecting link for all markets. Therefore, will XRP rise? Is not the essential question. The important thing is whether you'll still be holding it when it finally accomplishes its intended purpose. Reason being, there won't be a chance to get in when the fix arrives, whether it's thousands, tens of thousands, or more per XRP. Getting in has been done previously. That is precisely why I have centered my own technique on being able to detect these kinds of setups at an early stage. Get the Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide, 100x stocks in the pinned comment below immediately if you want my method, tools, and knowledge. This isn't idle speculation. It's a tried and true strategy for anticipating and capitalizing on emerging trends far before the general public does. In addition, if you deposit $100 through the Moomoo link in the same pinned comment, you will receive free NVDA shares up to $1,000. That's a simple victory to help you prepare for the more difficult ones to come.